Alright, I know I'm a little late to the party, but The Bear is freaking incredible. So The Bear is actually a show I watched right when it came out in 2022, and I remember really enjoying it. I was invested into the characters and their chemistry and the dynamics they had between each other. Loved the way it was edited, the satisfying montages of the food, but I also just loved the other side of the show, which is the chaotic, stressful depiction of this kitchen. But for some reason, when the second season came out, I just didn't watch it. I don't know why. I knew it came out. I was like, I don't really remember what happened, and I just kept pushing it back and just never watching it. But I recently rewatched the first season again with my family because of all the awards that it won at the Emmys and the Golden Globes, and it made me remember why I love this show so much. And then I started season 2, and that was just even more incredible. So like I said, I know I'm very late to the party talking about this, but the show was just so good and I have so much to say about it that I'm talking about it now. Also, I won't be going into spoilers in this video because if you guys haven't seen this show, I really want you to watch it without knowing too much about it. I might go into some mild spoilers, but if you want to know completely nothing about the show, I'd click off now. But if you're okay with learning a little bit, then I would continue. First, I just want to briefly talk about the first season. Like I said, I remember watching this for the first time back when it first came out and thinking, damn, this is really amazing and something I've never seen on TV before. I just love the style of the show overall, the way it's edited, the quick cuts, the cinematography, and it's only in a 30-minute episode. Also, it's considered a dramedy. I would consider it a drama that has like some comedic moments in it, but it is considered a dramedy, so a 30-minute dramedy and it's this good, it just doesn't make sense. But every episode adds so much into it, not wasting a single second. I immediately got attached to these characters and their dynamics with each other, especially Richie, and we'll get into his character more later in this video. And episode 7 of the show, I love this episode so much. The majority of the 20-minute episode is one long take with 0 cuts, a oneer. And not only is it super impressive, it fits the story and the characters so well. I don't think I've ever been more stressed out watching an episode of anything or even watching a movie in my life than watching this episode of The Bear. Like, this show, throughout the whole show, it feels like you're a fly on the wall and like you shouldn't actually be in the room because there's so much like personal and stressful things happening, but you also just can't look away because it's so entertaining. I've never worked in a restaurant, but I bet many people who have worked in a restaurant or in a kitchen can relate to this show on any certain level, and they can really appreciate this show. The show is just so grounded and realistic, and it's really fresh within a world we live in now with all these blockbusters, superhero, non-realistic shows. Like I said, I love how grounded it is. It's not trying to be something more than what it really is, but it also has a very deep meaning to it. And when I was done watching the first season, even for the second time, I was like, there's no way they can beat this first season. And then I watched the second season and I was like, how did they beat the first season? It doesn't make sense. The second season was even better than the first. It focuses on the character and the development of the characters rather than moving the story along, and I'll take that any day. While the first season really focused on the kitchen and the main character Carmi, this season focuses on every character no matter how big of a part they contribute to the show. And it was just brilliant because characters who I thought were underdeveloped in the first season, I just know exactly who they are after the second season. Each character, like I said, no matter how big or small of a part they had in the first season, had their own like solo episode this season. And it was just really fantastic. I've never really seen a show do that before. Like, it's taking these characters not only outside of the kitchen, it's taking them like outside of the country. Like Marcus, a really, in my opinion, underdeveloped character in the first season, has his own episodes this season. And like I said, only a 30-minute episode, but I feel like I completely know the guy after watching that episode. Also, we learned more about Sydney this season, and wow, what a performance she gives in both seasons, but specifically the second season, she really shines, and she deserves every award she is getting. Her performance just seems so real and nonchalant, but also super intense at times. But in my opinion, the MVP of this season is the character of Richie. The character development of Richie is one of the best I've seen in TV history this season. First of all, I liked Richie from the start, even when he was like considered, I guess, the annoying character, the one who's always yelling and not actually doing anything. I thought he was just hilarious and I loved every minute he was on screen. But also, I could always tell he really cared about people and didn't always mean the things he said or did. And this season, they really peel back the layers of his character and we really get to understand the guy. Another great episode, which is also at episode 7 of the season, titled Forks. One of the best episodes, I'm not joking, I've seen in TV history. Nearly perfect episode that not only is like shot perfectly, but also just super interesting and tells you and shows you stuff about the restaurant workplace that I never knew. But also the writing this episode's crazy. My favorite part is this is just Richie's episode. It's his character development episode. It changes his character for the rest of the season, the rest of the show, and it was just incredible. You know, finding your purpose was like a big theme of this season, and this episode just completely nailed that. And I've rewatched this episode already 3 times in the span of like 2 days, and it's almost a perfect episode, I'd say. Now we got to talk about that Christmas episode. Oh my god, just pure chaotic insanity, and I loved it. But also, I don't think I've ever been more uncomfortable watching a show than this episode. I was feeling like I shouldn't be in this room. Like, it just felt so real. Like, I should turn it off. I shouldn't be watching this family just yell at each other. Like, I shouldn't be there. That's how it made me feel, and that's exactly what I think the writers and the creator was trying to go for this episode, and they completely nailed it. This episode is just an acting masterclass. You have some of the best actors of our time right now. You have Jamie Lee Curtis in this episode, who just gives one of the best performances I've seen for a guest spot. Like, you'd think she's been in the show the whole time, but this is like pretty much her only episode in the show, and she gives one hell of a performance. But not only that, you have Bob Odenkirk, who's great in this episode, John Mulaney, who just, like I said, they act like they've been in the show the whole time. They fit in so well. This episode, while it was very uncomfortable, is such a necessary episode to understand the characters of Carmy and Natalie, Richie even more. And it was just super well done. It's the only episode that's over an hour. It definitely needed that runtime, and it's one of the most intense, uncomfortable, and kind of satisfying episode because we get to understand why some of these characters are the way they are and where they come from. Also, John Bernthal, who's in a few episodes of this show, he's just incredible with every scene he gets, even if he's not in it that much. Also, Carmy, the main character of the show, I don't think his development was as great as other characters in this season. Jeremy Allen White, he just gives one hell of a performance in both seasons. In the first season, he's like the star of it. He's the best character, in my opinion, in the first season. He's the most enjoyable. And that's because Jeremy Allen White just gives everything he has into this character. He's a great actor. He knows who the character is. He put in the work, and it just completely showed off. So yeah, I could go on and on and on about The Bear. I don't want to spoil too much for you guys if you haven't seen it. I wish I watched season 2 earlier because it literally was incredible. It's all I could think about once I finished it. I binged it all in like pretty much a little over a day. It's such an easy watch because of the quick runtime, but also it'll be the most stressful but also enjoyable thing you'll ever see. Please check out The Bear. It's incredible. But warning, for the next week, all you'll be saying is yes chef, no chef. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about The Bear, and I'll see you guys later.